it's Femtrooper, and today I'm going to talk about my top 5 gaming pet peeves. Number 1, difficulty mode. I am so frustrated when games don't include a difficulty mode. I know that might seem kind of noob of me to want that, but I feel like genres like RPGs, I feel like unless they're like made for beginners, I feel like they should always have a difficulty mode. So here's an example, a game like Dark Souls, a game I will never play, a game that is ridiculously hard, which basically makes me never want to play it. If they had an easy mode for Dark Souls, I would maybe try it. I would maybe buy it and check it out. But because it's notoriously a really, really ridiculously hard game, I will never even invest in that. I don't care. Also, the kind of game it is isn't my thing anyway, but it's a WRPG I will never touch. And I feel like that's sad, because if people who are really hardcore and like playing, you know, the extreme difficulty of Dark Souls, then they can select, you know, extreme mode or difficult mode. And then somebody like me who's new to the series could maybe select easy mode or, you know, normal mode. I feel like a lot of RPGs get ridiculous, and if they had a difficulty mode option right at the start of the game, that would make things a lot easier. And I don't necessarily mean that you have to, you know, that you're able to switch it. You know, halfway through the game you're mad and you can switch it, but at least give me the option at the start of the game, because there are certain games that are notoriously easy and notoriously hard, and it would be nice to maybe be able to pick, you know, a challenge like, you know, I've beat this game before, let me try a harder version, or, you know, I've never played this, I'm a little intimidated, so I can select an easy mode. So just something I wish was available, especially in RPGs. I don't maybe think so in platformers, but I really do think I think there should always be a difficulty mode in RPGs. Number 2, my pet peeve for this one is I hate it when games don't have the option to have an original audio track choice. So you're playing a game that's again, a JRPG from Japan, and you can only play it in English. I think that is ridiculous, because to me it's the same kind of concept as watching anime, and you're only able to watch it dubbed. I like watching things, especially anime, in the original language it's from. It's no different than watching, like, say, a Swedish movie, and I'd like to watch it in Swedish. I don't want to watch it dubbed or you know, a different version of it. I want to watch it the way it is. I'm fine with subtitles. I love subtitles. But I wish that games, a lot of games that come out in North America and they dub them and they don't give you the option for the original Japanese audio track, I think that's ridiculous. I would really like to hear the way it's supposed to have sounded, because sometimes there's certain things that are lost in translation, like emotion or the way a character's being portrayed. And I really think that there should always be the option to at least have the Japanese audio track, or whatever the language it was originally made in. Number 3, this one applies mostly to racing games and shooters, for me personally, but I think there should always be an option whenever you have multiplayer to have split screen. I'm very frustrated when you get a game where you can only play with friends online. They can't be in the same room with you. That's why I love a lot of Nintendo stuff, because you're able to actually play Mario Kart with somebody else in the room, you know, via split screen. I think it's sad that there's a lot of multiplayer games that you're unable to do that. So that should always be an option, because I feel like that used to be the way it was, and now that we have, you know, online gaming, that they take it away, and I think they fail to realize, different companies, that people would actually like to play with their friend on the couch. Number 4, this one is a RPG grievance of mine that I'm sure is no surprise, but I think there should always be natural level progression in RPGs especially. So what I mean by that is you will beat a boss, and you're traveling around and everything's great, and then you get to another boss or something else that's challenging, and you are way too low of a level to even dare do it. So you have to kind of go back and hang out in that area and grind a little bit. Unacceptable. I like games that, you know, you start somewhere and you end up from A and you go to point B and everything's good. You've naturally, you know, gone up in your level. You don't have to sit there for a while and grind around. I think that is absolutely frustrating. And Pokemon is really bad for that, because you will be in one town, beat a gym leader, and it literally will take you 5 minutes to get to the next town, and you're already expected to be the next gym leader, and you really should be like 10 levels up. So you kind of just have to hang out in that area that was between the towns. well, either that area should be way longer, or the next gym leader shouldn't be as hard. So something needs to happen there. Some games are great at this. You just naturally progress going up in your level, and there's never an issue. But some games are just pretty awful. So come on, guys, natural level progression, please. Number 5. This one applies to RPGs and platformers. And I mean, quite honestly, really any game, but those genres specifically, and that's being able to save anywhere. I am so frustrated when I play a game and you say an RPG and you go into a dungeon and you just cannot save until you get back to the world map. Well, that's very frustrating, because if I'm playing a game and I have a limited time, like say you're at work and you're taking your lunch break and you think, yeah, I'll play, blank RPG right now. And then you think, okay, well, I have to go back to work and there's no way I'm getting out of this dungeon in, my hour lunch break. So, well, that was a big waste of time, because it's going to die. I wish I could just save right here, right now in the dungeon. There's so many reasons that's frustrating. I know it's a challenge, but I feel like we all have lives here, and like I can't maybe continuously do that all the time. I hate it. Or, you only have limited time because you're, waiting to go out somewhere, you're going somewhere, and then it's like, well, it's either I don't go out or I finish this. Saving anywhere, please. It's also very frustrating when you're playing, or not RPGs, but platformers, and, like say Donkey Kong, and then you can't save after every level. Well, that's very frustrating, because you only have limited amount of lives, and then you'll say, finally get to a boss, or in Mario, you get to a castle, and then you die, and now you have to play the last 4 levels again. But it took so long to get, say, through that third level. It's very frustrating to me, because I just feel like, yeah, is it challenging? Yes, of course it is. And maybe you could have the option not to have to save. But I feel like when there's so much going on, and people have work, or they have school, or they have kids, or they have whatever, that's just really frustrating to not have to be, you can't save. Xenoblade Chronicles, you could save anywhere. And I don't think that was making the game easier or anything. It didn't matter. Wherever you were, you could save. Simple as that. It didn't matter. I thought that was excellent. So being able to save anywhere, really important. So those are all my gaming pet peeves. I sort of got this idea from Ultimate Floyd 1. He did a video like this long time ago, and I just thought I would sort of do a response and think of some things that really frustrated me in gaming. But that's everything for today. See you guys later.